What's up, family? Man, I want to have a real heart to heart with you guys. Man, I had the privilege and opportunity of being able to sit down with a young man today and for a few hours and just talk to him. And man, it did something to my soul to see this young man just break down and just bawl and cry and just the moaning and groaning from his soul. Man, that did something to me, family. Because you don't really see young men crying like this. Stay with me. We're going to go somewhere. I've never seen this guy cry like this. I've never seen this guy become vulnerable and transparent and just, you can't even imagine the brokenness. You can't even imagine the pain and the cross and the suffering that a young man has to go through to get him to the point of just breaking down and crying like this. This young man was hurt beyond, man. It did something to me, family. You know what I mean? It touched my soul. And it reminded me of the brokenness I went through back in March. It reminded me of the pain and the suffering that I endured back in March. And I'm listening to this young man just talk and just express himself. And he's so in love and he's just so broken and just so hurt. And it reminded me of where I was at back in March. It reminded me where I was at back in April. And listening to him talking, it's just like, oh my God. And I'm sharing this because he asked me, he pleaded with me to make this video. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be bringing it up. And I knew that I wanted to talk about it, but unless they gave me permission to, I would never have. Why am I talking about this? Because sometimes, family, you can love somebody and your intentions are pure and righteous, and you can be killing them at the same time. You can love somebody so much and be fucking their world up at the same time. Stay with me. We're going somewhere. It's going to be profound. So I'm listening to this young man talk to me. And I'm just, okay, God, help me, help me, help me. Give me the words to speak to this young man. So I'm listening to him talk, and it's just, hmm. And what God had to show me was sometimes, regardless of your intention, sometimes young women can have daddy issues. Young men can have daddy and mama issues. But this young lady have daddy issues. And her dad wasn't in her life. And all the things that she's wanted in her daddy, all the things she's hoped for from her daddy, all the things she hoped her daddy would be like, all the things she hoped her daddy would say are now manifested in this young man. This young man embodies everything she's ever wanted from a daddy, but never experienced. We're going there today. We're going to break some grounds today. Man, we're going to break up some shit today. I'm letting you know right now. Man, this is going to be epic. And so what God has me telling this young man was, it's not that you're bad. It's not that she don't love you. See, here's the hard thing with life sometimes. And I've had to experience this. I just went through this in March. Just went through the exact same thing in March. So God had me showing them, talking to them, like, look, everything that you try to do, listen, the more you try to show her love, the more you try to show her healthy boundaries, the more you try to show her that you were there for her and you got her back, and then you want goals for her and what do. The more you try to do that, the more you reminded her of the daddy she never had. And it fucks her up. And most women that have never dealt with their daddy issues can't handle a strong man like this. Most women that's never dealt with their daddy issues can't handle a strong, confident man who's trying to help them reach their full potential. And so I had to show them, look, she knows all the shit you've gone through. You've gone through so much more pain and trauma in life than she did. She don't understand how you have the strength to go through all the hell you've gone through and still be loving and compassionate and giving. She can't handle that. She can't process that because there's no way in the world she can be like you because she hasn't gone through what you've gone through and she sees how tainted she is. She hasn't gone through what you've gone through and she see how it has her fucked up. She hasn't gone through what you've gone through and she see how it has her untrusting. Oh, we're going there today. We're going there today. And this is going to trigger a lot of you, but it is what it is. The purpose and intent is to help you grow the fuck up, to help you deal with some unresolved shit. And so I'm talking to him and I'm telling him, it's like, look, she hasn't dealt with her issues. She's insecure. And so she sees you as this godly man. She sees you as this person. And she can't understand how you could be the way you are. You're more trusting than she is, and she's gone through far less than you. She sees how strong you are. She sees how brave and courageous you are. She sees how you're helping all these other people. And she can't fathom how you could be the way you are. And she looks at you, and you're trying to help her. But she doesn't see it as you're trying to help her because she has unresolved issues. She sees it as you pointing out her faults and character defects. And so that confirms her insecurities. It fucks her up even more. You're trying to be helpful. You're trying to be loving. You're trying to help her reach her full potential. But she can't see it as that because of her issues. See, in the beginning of the relationship, you guys were so in love. In the beginning of a relationship, you guys were so attracted to each other because you guys both needed each other. You were everything she's always needed and wanted, but never got from her daddy. She was what you needed. See, because you got issues. You need to feel validated. You need to feel loved. You need to feel accepted. And so she gave you what you needed. You provided what she needed. And so the attraction was there. The connection was made. You guys are both helping each other. But the more she got to know you, the more she started to feel insecure. Not because anything you did, but because she didn't see herself as perfect as she saw you being perfect. And sometimes she saw you and she looked at you and thought you were better than her. Sometimes she saw you and she saw the shit that you've gone through. She sees the strength that you have and she can't process that. And so that makes her feel less than, to no fault of your own. So now, when you talk to her about saving money, when you talk to her about let's do this, da, da, that, when you talk to her about let's eat better, let's do whatever it is that, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, it's a trigger to her unresolved daddy issues. It's a trigger to her insecurities. Because why isn't my daddy here? Why didn't my daddy stay around to love me and to nurture me and to care for me and to provide for me and to be there to protect me? Why didn't my daddy love me like this? All the things you're doing, I appreciate you doing them, but it's a trigger to me because my heart is longing for my daddy to have done these things. And the more I see you do these things, the more I hear you do these things, the more I long for my daddy. And my daddy never gave a fuck. My daddy was never there. I'm glad you're saying all these things. I'm glad you're doing all these things. And here's the conflict. Here's the double-edged sword. You're saying the right things, but they're fucking me up. They're fucking me up because I don't even understand the fact that, man, it's taking me back to my childhood. And I wish my daddy made me feel safe like you are. I wish my daddy had just held me. I wish my daddy had comforted me and told me how beautiful I was, told me how smart I was. But he was never there. And I prayed for my daddy to come. I prayed for my daddy to be this person. And he never showed up. And all the guys that I met looking for my daddy, they showed me that they wasn't shit. There was nothing like the image I had of my daddy. And here you come. I see you're a great man of God. I see you're loving and compassionate and giving and all these things I wish my daddy was. And I don't know how to handle it. I don't know how to deal with it. I love you, but you're hurting me. I love you. I value you. But you're making me have to deal with some shit I'm not ready to deal with. And that fucks up the relationship. Because I love you and I want to be with you. But I'm hurting and broken on the inside. And I don't know how to process it because my daddy was never there and he never told me or showed me how to deal with this stuff. And so I don't know how. I don't know how. I see you as this great man, but I don't know how to appreciate you and value you and love you and what to do because I long for my daddy. And the more I see you, the more I hear you, the more I'm with you, the more I miss my daddy. The more I get mad at my daddy for not being there. The more angry and pissed I get. Not that I'm angry and pissed at you, but I'm angry and pissed because my daddy couldn't do these things. And I needed him to. I wanted him to. And I see in you everything that I wanted in my daddy. And it's fucking me up emotionally. And so I don't know how to handle this. I want it, but it's crushing me. I want it, I need it, but it's fucking me up emotionally, and I don't know how to deal with my emotions in a healthy manner. Sometimes you can love somebody and your intentions and your thoughts and everything towards them be pure and righteous and godly, and it fucks them up, and they don't know how to deal with it because they never have dealt with it before. So this is new ground to them. It takes them out of their comfort zone. And we all want to be comfortable. She loves you, but you're fucking her up. She loves you, but you're making her uncomfortable. And sometimes they love you, but they don't love you enough to face their fears. Sometimes they love you, but they don't love you enough to want to deal with their issues, to get past their issues. And so although they love you and adore you and think the world of you, it's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough to make them want to be uncomfortable, to face their trauma. It's not enough to make them want to dive deep and deal with their bullshit. It's not enough to make them deal with that emptiness inside because their daddy was never there, because their daddy didn't love them, because their daddy dogged them out. And so they have this broken part to them, this empty hole inside of them. And they don't know how to fill it. They don't know how to fix it. They love you, but you keep reminding them of their daddy. And that's devastating to them. And so they don't know how to process it. And so they back up. And because you're righteous and your intents are pure, you pursue them even more. If I could just love them more. And see, now you're fucked up. And you're fucked up because your thought process, why come they can't accept me for who I am? How come they can't just appreciate me for who I am? How come they can't love me for who I am? I'm making myself transparent and vulnerable for them. Everything I do is for their best interest. How come they can't see that I adore them and I think the world of them? It's not that they can't see it. They don't want to see it. Because in order to see it, it reminds them of the emptiness inside of them. It reminds them of the gaping hole left by their daddy. And so now you're twisted because you don't feel loved. You don't feel valued. You don't feel respected. You don't feel appreciated. And all that you've done was righteous and pure. And so you think, I got to love them harder. I got to say it more. I got to give more. I got to do more. But that's not the answer. Because the more you do, the more they reject it. The more you do, the more they fight. The more you do, the more they push back The more you do, the more they pull back. Why? Because that's not the answer for them. That's causing them pain that they don't want to deal with. And so you have two people who love each other. You're thinking, I just have to show it more. I just have to express it more. And you do that. And they reject it more. They push it back more. They pull back more. And so now you start thinking, now I'm not good enough. When you start wondering, what's wrong with me? I'm not cheating on you. I'm not beating you. I'm not disrespecting you. I just want the best for you. How come you can't see that? How come you can't just appreciate that? How come you can't just, there's so many fucking women that would adore me for who I am, that want this type of man, and I'm giving this to you, and you can't accept it, and you can't appreciate it. Now, I start to look at you different. Now, I start to look at you as ungrateful. Now, I start to look at you as selfish. Now, I start to see you as trifling. You just want some fucking knucklehead that's gonna disrespect you. You want somebody that's gonna cheat on you, that's out there hanging out and drinking and woo-doo-doo and all this other bullshit. Because I see you different because you've hurt me. Because you've rejected me. I don't understand that you didn't reject me. You didn't reject my efforts. I just made you uncomfortable because of my righteous way of living. My love has made you uncomfortable. My genuineness has made you uncomfortable because of your unresolved daddy issues. But I don't understand that. I don't know that. I don't see that. And so I personalize it as you rejected me. And so now I'm mad and angry. I'm mad and angry because I needed to be validated. I needed to feel loved. I needed to feel appreciated. And you're pulling back. I'm not feeling like I'm being validated by you anymore. I don't feel you're loved anymore. And so now I'm feeling like I'm unworthy of love again. But you love me. I love you. So what's the problem? See, because we've been told that love is all we need. We've been told love is the answer. You need more than love. Yeah. You need more than love. See, because love, just because I love you, don't mean that I'm going to deal with my bullshit. Just because I love you, don't mean I'm going to face my fears and my insecurities. See, because fear can override love. Being comfortable can override love. So although I love you, My fear of you looking at me as less than. My fear of you rejecting me like my daddy. My fear of you leaving me like my daddy is greater than my love for you. And so we wonder why our relationships fail when we love each other, because we don't have the knowledge. We don't have the wisdom to understand that both of us have unresolved issues that have been triggered. And now we're pulling back. Now we're seeing each other differently. And now we think the love is gone. We think there's something wrong with our love. When the truth is, there's nothing wrong with our love. We've been triggered. And now we see our issues, our insecurities, our fears. And it's making us uncomfortable. It's terrifying us. We just want to be comfortable again. We have to grow up. We have to understand that just because you love somebody don't mean that you need to be in a relationship with them. You can love somebody and understand that they're not ready. God had to show me. There's levels to love. There's levels to love. You can love somebody and want the best for them. But what God had to show me was, Elijah, do you want the best for them? Even if that doesn't mean that they're not with you anymore. Do you love them enough to where if I needed to take them away, you'll still love them? If I needed to take them through some stuff, would you still love them? If they dogged you out in the process of trying to deal with their bullshit, would you still love them? If they hurt you and betrayed you and broke your heart and crushed your spirit in the process of trying to deal with their bullshit, would you still love them? If I took them through the fire and brought them out the fire, but now they're with somebody else, would you still love them? Would you still want that for them? Would you want them to be happy with somebody else if that meant that was the best for them? Do you love them like that? Or do you love them to the point where you just want them with you? Even if that means that they don't reach their full potential, even if that means that they don't completely heal and be all that they're capable of being. Do you love them enough? You can let them go. And let them go through whatever it is that they got to go through in life. And even if they never chose you, could you still love them? Could you still wish the best for them, even though they moved on? God had to show me us when we go through things. See, new levels, new devils. They're differently. When you go through another level, you got to deal with something else. That's growth and development. See, but we get comfortable where we're at. And we want to stay there because, man, I'm cool. I have the strength to handle this. Prior to Cecilia passing away in 2015, that was my wife at the time. I didn't have the strength to deal with that. Stay with me, I'm going somewhere. See, I had the strength. I saw my mama murdered by my daddy at the age of 2. I was sexually molested at the age of 6, twice by religious people. I had the strength to deal with that, to handle that. I had women in and out of my life rejecting me and all this other. I had the strength to deal with that. But I didn't have the strength to watch my wife passing away from cancer. And so what God had to show me is, Elijah, I'm trying to take you to another level. See, Elijah, you got the strength and the faith for all the stuff that you've endured. But see, going through this is going to strengthen your faith. Going through this is going to make you stronger. Going through this is going to show you how much stronger you really are. You don't think you have the strength. You don't think you have the courage or the ability to go through this. So I'm taking you through this. You got to sit here and watch your wife die, knowing that there's nothing you could do. Knowing you can't save her, you can't fix her. You got to let her go. You got to let her go. That was a hard thing for me to have to deal with. It was devastating. And then when me and my wife went through the situation in March, I didn't understand that God was taking me to another level, which means that I needed more strength. I needed more faith. And God had to show me that I had that. But in order for him to show me that, I had to go through something. And so God had to show how strong I was. I didn't think I was strong enough to handle that. I was done. I was broken. I was crushed. I wanted to die. Again, because when my wife passed away, I wanted to die then. Because I didn't think I could handle that. Now I'm married again. And God is getting ready to take me to another level. But I didn't know he was taking me to another level. I thought she was just waking out. I thought she was just on some bullshit. But God was using her to take me to another level. And it fucked me up. It fucked me up. I thought the world of this young lady. She was everything to me. And if I can be honest with you, I still think the same way about her. Stay with me. I'm going somewhere. I'm about to drop something. I've never shared with anybody except for this young man earlier tonight. This young lady told people that I tried to kill her. This young lady accused me of trying to strangle her to death. She told people how selfish and mean and all this other stuff that I was. And it fucked me up. Flipped my whole world upside down. This young lady who I loved, adored, loved the world of, is now telling people, told the cops, called the cops, told the cops that I tried to kill her. Told my family that I tried to kill her. New levels, new devils. And what I mean by that is God's going to show you how strong you are. God's going to test your faith. You talk about love. We're going to test that love. I'm going to test that love of yours. You say you love unconditionally, Elijah. We're going to see about that. You say you got that agape love, Elijah. We're going to see about that. You say you're a man of God, Elijah. We're going to see about that. You say that you manifest God in your physical realm. You're not perfect, but you manifest God to the best of your ability. We're going to see about that, Elijah. We're going to see. I'm going to take you through something. And we're going to see how much love you really have. I'm going to take you through something, Elijah. I'm going to see if your character changed. I'm going to take you through something, Elijah. I'm going to see if you really do. If you can really walk what you talk. See, everybody talks about growth and development until it's time to grow the fuck up. Everybody want to be super spiritual until it's time to be spiritual. Everybody's strong until it's time to go through some shit. Everybody's talking about love and unconditional love and whoop-de-whoop until it's time for it to be tested. And so I'm sitting in the jail cell and I'm angry and mad and confused, not understanding what the fuck just happened. Completely oblivious to what just transpired. Not understanding why this shit is going on. Not understand why I'm even here in this fucking cell in the first place. Fucking clueless. But that added to my anger. Added to my anger. That added to my frustration. And God had to show me, hold up, time out, Elijah. You said you loved unconditionally. If you love unconditionally, then it don't matter what they did. If you love unconditionally, then it don't matter what they're doing. If you love unconditionally, then it don't matter what they're saying. See, Elijah, that's the difference between me and you humans. See, like, regardless of what you do, I still love you. Regardless of what you say, I still love you. You don't have to be perfect for me to love you. You don't have to get everything right for me to love you. I'm never going to leave you and betray you. Regardless of how ignorant you get, regardless of how stupid you do, whatever stupid shit you do, I, as God, I'm never going to leave you. I'm never going to walk out on you. I'm never going to stop loving you. There's nothing you could do that's going to make me love you less. There's nothing you can do that's going to make me love you more. Because my love for you is unconditional. Elijah, you're filled with anger and confusion and all these other emotions right now. And I get it. But let's look past the emotions. We're going to understand why you have those emotions. You have those emotions, Elijah, because you needed to feel validated. You wanted to feel loved. You wanted to feel appreciated. You wanted to feel like you mattered. That somebody finally saw you. Somebody was finally connected with you. Somebody finally adored you. And so when your wife did what she did, you no longer felt connected. You no longer felt valued. You no longer felt appreciated. You no longer felt worthy. But do you still love her? Do you still love her unconditionally? Even though she told these people what she told them. Even though she told your family what she told them. Even though you lost everything. Do you still love her unconditionally? Or does your love stop? Because now you've been hurt. You've been betrayed. You've been lied on. That's conditional love. And there is no such thing as conditional love. That's some bullshit you humans do because y'all don't know any better. And so when I had to sit there and process it, when I had to sit there and take it all in, I've never been through that before. All of it had to go through the court system, fighting, trying to prove this and that. All that stuff was dismissed. It was all cleared up. All of it. But it doesn't change the fact that I had to go through it. It doesn't change the fact that she walked away, leaving me empty-handed. It doesn't change the fact that she walked away, leaving me homeless. It doesn't change the fact that she walked away and tried to convince everybody around her, everybody that would listen to her, that I did these things. Elijah, your faith had to be tested. Your faith was tested. You knew that none of that was true, but the fear kicked in. You'd already lost the home. You already lost the relationship. You already lost the possessions, your physical possessions. But now you're fighting for your freedom. Now you're fighting for your reputation. And you don't know how this is going to play out, especially in America. It's a whole lot of people, whole lot of dudes in prison behind some bullshit that some woman has said. It's a whole lot of dudes in prison for rape that they never committed. It's a whole lot of dudes in prison because some bullshit some woman said. I'm not saying every guy is innocent, but let's keep the shit real. There's a whole lot of guys that's got fucked up because some woman said some shit. Because some woman has done some shit. This is not about bashing women or guys. That was just part of the thing in the back of my mind that made me more fearful. Because I know the history in America. I've worked in the prison systems. I know how corrupt the system can be. I know how unfair and tainted the system can be. And so the fear kicked on me, in me. Am I going to become another fucking statistic? And so that's the testing. It's easy to sit back and talk about everything's always working out for me. All things work together for the good of them that love the Lord, called according to his purpose, and da da da. We can all sit back and quote all this stuff and say all this stuff until you're tested. And when you're tested, and you believe it still. Not some things, not most things, all things work together for the good. Everything is always working out for me. Not some things, not a few things, not most things, everything is always working out for me. And so everything is always working out for me, regardless of the bullshit I'm in. This too is going to work out for me. I just have to let go of the illusion of control. I just have to learn to sit there and trust the process. Not put my trust in the political system, not put my trust in the fucking prison system or whatever you call this shit right here. I couldn't put my trust in that. Because I saw how fucked up that shit was. I know how fucked up that shit. My trust and faith had to be in God. All right, God. I know you didn't bring me this far to leave me. I know you didn't bring me this far to fuck me over. I don't get why she did this. I don't understand why she's doing this. And I may never understand it, other than the fact that I had to be tested. Other than the fact that God had to show me how strong I was. I saw how strong I was. To be able to go through all of that shit and to try to remain positive, loving, compassionate, nurturing, and giving. Do you love them enough to face your shit? Do you truly have unconditional love? Or is your love conditioned based on circumstances? If they cheat, I'm done. If they break my heart, I'm done. If they do it, I'm done. That's not godly love. I don't give a fuck about what you want to talk about as far as healthy boundaries and all this other. That's not what we're talking about. And what God had to show me was, Elijah, you've never been perfect. You've made a lot of mistakes throughout your life. And I never gave up on you. I never stopped loving you. I never thought less of you. If you're a manifestation of me in the physical realm, then you have to love others the way I love you. That's a hard pill to swallow. That means I got to deal with my bullshit and my issues and my insecurities and my fears and my fucking ego and whoop doo doo. And I can't give up on them because God's never gave up on me. Man, we got to grow up. We have to grow up. I hope and pray that I said something to encourage you to, man, challenge your way of thinking or whatever the case may be. We have to grow up. We have to understand what true love is. We have to understand that, man, love is going to be tested. Even Jesus' love was tested. Even Jesus was tested. Jesus came here, quote unquote, Yahshua, whatever you want to call him. Even he, in the garden, didn't want to have to go through what he had to go through. But he had to get to the point through praying and all the stuff that he had to go through to get to the point where he said, not my will, but thy will be done. God, I love these people so much. It is what it is. And it's going to be what it's going to be. I had to get to the point with Ingrid, my wife. Man, it is what it is. And it's going to be what it's going to be. I love her, but if she ain't the one for me, take her away. I love her, but if she needs to be with somebody else, take her away. I want her, but if that's not the one for me, regardless of how much it hurts, regardless of how much pain it costs me, take her away. Because it's not my will. Thy will be done. At all costs. I love her that much. I love humanity that much. Not my will. Thy will be done. God's will be done. We all have our hearts and our desires, our wishes. But we have to grow up and get to the point emotionally and spiritually to where we're able to say, okay, it is what it is. Yes, I want this person. But it ain't about what I want. It's about what's in my best interest. It's about what's in their best interest. And maybe regardless of how much I love them, regardless of how much I value them, regardless of how much I feel like I got to have them in my life. Maybe they belong somewhere else with someone else in order for them to reach their full potential. And I love them so much. That's what I want for them. Namaste. The God, the love, the light, the wisdom that's within me sees the God, the love, the light, the wisdom that's within each and every one of you. We have to grow up. We have to grow up. Thank you for being with me in this journey, family. Happy healing.